Konnichiwa, you ding-dang weeaboo. Welcome to Notaku, real news from an otaku perspective. Now, if you're not a filthy weeb, then you're probably already confused. But don't worry, this is barely the beginning, and this pit is only going to get deeper and darker. So much darker. Before long, you'll be screeching about how 3D girls make trashy waifus, and how all the girls you know are too cold, but not the right kind of cold. Like Mikasa, which is why you prefer your pillow, the full-length one with a picture of Haruhi Suzumiya, because you know deep in your heart, your best girl will forever be a cute, violent, lovable, sadistic tsundere who acts like she hates you, but secretly loves you more than yellow on rice. First off, let me just say this is obviously our first episode of Notaku, so comments, likes, etc. will really help us figure out if we should make a second. Second, in case you're wondering, what the hell am I about to watch? I'll explain real quick. We just look at big, important news and give you our opinion. Our opinion is filthy weebs, so it's pretty much a win-win. You get to find out what's happening in the world, and we manage to vent our inner weeb so we don't accidentally burst into flaming otakus in our day-to-day lives. An otaku is in no way responsible for the side effects of bursting into a flaming otaku. The act of bursting into a flaming otaku may cause burns, blindness, loss of skin, ugliness, unattractiveness to women, semi-attractiveness to other otakus, but not really, public humiliation, family disownment, being turned into Yankee butter, dismemberment, partial hair loss, total hair loss, or any of the side effects caused by the sleep enhancement drug plutonium. Oh, and dysfunction of various human body parts, but not the ones that go erect. Your junior ought to be fine, or it will fall off. One of those two, no others. Probably the second. So, what are we going to talk about today? America's best girl?
Trump. Trump, 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 Trump.
Her best friend, V. Putin? Nay, we've got a much more succulent topic for you today. Everyone's favorite tsundere choo-choo, North Korea. While you, a filthy American, or some other filthy nationality, were stuffing your face with baked yams, takoyaki, and red bean curd, you won't believe what the world's most annoying kawaii was doing. Well, wait, I say world's most annoying kawaii, but that's not true. They're really the world's second most annoying kawaii, because ISIS, that's one baka, so it's not even endearing. Anyway, like I was saying, while you, a member of the international weeaboo community, were stuffing your face with loli-shaped gummies and bloomer-shaped cookies on the American Day of Independence, North Korea, that little girl from next door who definitely wants to murder you, completed their first successful ballistic missile launch. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking this. Notaku, I've got my complete collection of all 4,000 seasons of One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, and SAO. And also, you won't believe this, but I play Genji on Overwatch. See, I'm ready for nuclear fallout. I have 0 Sakuras to give about North Korea's intercontinental ballistic missile program. I'm ready. Here's what I think about that. First of all, you're a filthy plebe weeb. You're a disgusting anime virgin. You are trash among trash. And Genji? Are you overcompensating for something like, a small dick dictionary of otaku terminology and knowledge? First, One Piece for life. The other 3 are meh. Second, play Tracer. She doesn't get stomped by monkeys and lasers. Third, watch some real anime. It's not hard. Here's a few real anime we at Notaku watch at least once a month, just to stay fresh. You got that? Okay, back to the question at hand. Why should you care that North Korea can now rain down nuclear fire on you from above? Now, an average person might answer that question with the obvious: World War III, imminent death, soldiers abroad, the fragility of the carefully balanced geopolitical environment, or some other equally boring stuff. But we already know. We know that you haven't cared about the fate of the 3D world in quite a while. I bet the last time you took an interest in international politics was when Lelouch pranked Britannia and saved Nunnally. And the world too. Maybe. At least, I think he saved the world? All I really remember is Nunnally. Nunnally. Oh yeah, Nunnally. Priorities. Am I right? Speaking of priorities, it's about time you made this North Korea situation one of yours. We're serious. You can't afford to ignore this one. Not this time. Because it's not just your home, life, country, society, family, or planet in danger. It's your anime. That got your attention, didn't it? Look at that. Look at it. Don't look away. Look at it. Do you understand what you're looking at? Do you know what this is right here? How about this here? That's right, weeb. Weep. Japan, the Holy Land, the source spring of tentacles, Sundarus, and whatever the sakura this is. Japan, the home of all beauty and joy on this cosmic speck of a planet. The weeaboo homeland, the otaku mecca. The land overflowing with schoolgirls and slime. This fantastic place is only located 650 miles away from that murderous little sister of a country, North Korea-chan. North Korea's state media reported that Kim Jong-un's Bae missile-sama was an intercontinental ballistic missile, and U.S. and South Korean officials cannot rule out the possibility that that is true. And they can't rule that out because North Korea's missile traveled more than 570 miles before touching down in Japan's economic exclusive zone, waters that belong to the country Japan. According to Wikipedia, the ultimate source for anime summaries, and a few other things as well, intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, have a minimum range of 3,400 miles and are most commonly used to carry nuclear payloads. You're probably thinking something along the lines of, okay, that sounds bad. But surely someone is dealing with it, right? I mean, what's America's best girl, DJ Trump, up to? Surely Trump and his Onesama and step Onesamas must have a plan for dealing with the megamine minus cuteness of rogue nations. Well, yes, the squad did have a plan. Big D let us in on it back in April on, you guessed it, Wendy's platform of choice, Twitter. The president said, and I quote, "I have great confidence that China will properly deal with North Korea, blah, 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 blah." Okay? The Donald was basically hoping China would do most of the heavy lifting when it came to resolving this thing, which actually was not a bad plan. See, China is North Korea's childhood friend. If anyone could call them over for a sleepover, start up a pillow fight, transition into girl talk, and tell them, "Bo, you need to stop running crack. Yonderes are only hot in theory. You're a goddamn nightmare," it'd be China. See, China is basically North Korea's senpai. Childhood friend senpai. They grew up together. They live next door to each other. Maybe one day one of them will even fall for the other, only to be rejected for the mysterious new boy who entered their lives 3 months earlier. Because that's just how harem mangas work. In some ways, China and North Korea are like two peas in a pod, but not in that many ways. They're more like both peas, separate pods, separate colors. See, China is sane. China, like America and Russia and Israel and Britain and every other sane country, respects MAD. What is MAD? Glad you asked. You know how every action anime has its own system by which every fight in the universe functions? Naruto has chakra and jutsu. One Piece has haki and devil fruits. Bleach has spirit pressure and Bankai and Quincy powers and hollow powers and human fullbring abilities, and also just kind of like weird innate powers too. Okay, well, you get the idea. Every fight in those series is bound by the rules and guidelines of their combat system. Well, except for when Ichigo freaking invents a new thing altogether. Don't get me started on Korean. Okay, you know what? No. Sorry, off topic, back on. Well, MAD is the combat system of the real world. MAD stands for Mutually Assured Destruction. It basically means the second things go nuclear, we all die. So let's all make sure we never let things go nuclear. Makes sense, right? Regardless of whether a country stabbed the girl of last September, who had already stabbed the best girl of last July, or a country has allegedly stolen millions of jobs right out from under factory work loving Americans, we all respect the number one rule of our global combat system. Call out, maybe even law out, but never fall out. So how did Trump's hopes of China explaining the way things work to North Korea go? Well, on July 5th, BGDJTs tweeted, trade between China and North Korea grew almost 40% in the first quarter. So much for China working with us, but we had to give it a try. Now, that claim's not entirely fair. China did gently remind North Korea that maybe, just maybe, they were a little too psycho. Maybe if they were gonna hide in the closet and wait for the moment to attack, they should hand over the knife, just so things don't get too messy or dangerous. They suggested that North Korea could be a gentle yandere, who spoke with her small little girl fists. And North Korea was all like, "You don't control me, Chinatown," and bought a 44. China, on the other hand, got so flustered about the honorific Tan that she gave North Korea even more of those special goods she was saving for him and him alone, like the blushing bride she was. But in the end, what did you expect? Childhood friends stick together, right? Until one of them shatters the other's heart by falling for and getting with the pervert, minor-loving teacher. Not that minor. Yeah, that minor. The minor joke does not belong to Notaku. This is especially relevant if you were disgusted by the joke. It was stolen directly from the lips of comedian Louis C.K. He's good, unless you found that joke revolting, in which case we hate him too. We'd like the man more if he was a weeb. Of course, if he's a closeted weeb, we apologize for doubting, and urge him to come bursting out of that closet for all the world to see. Please rewind the video to see the side effects of that course of action. Notaku refuses to take responsibility for anything. Ever. Especially side effects. Thank you. So, what should you take away from all of this unfiltered information? Well, I'll tell you what I'm taking away from it. You never, ever, ever wind up with your childhood friend. The friend zone does not exist. Don't be a douchebag who believes the friend zone's a thing unless you're a childhood friend, in which case you were born deep in the friend zone. She or he will hook up with the mysterious transfer student, teacher, and your best friend all on the same day, and you will cry yourself to sleep, wishing your parents had never been close to hers and you had never met her. And why the hell does she keep coming over to my house to tell me about her lovers? I'm dying a little more every day, and she just doesn't see it. Or maybe she doesn't care. You should probably walk away from this video with a few other things. I guess. You should probably know that North Korea has it in for America for being the busty beauty that she is, and that her childhood friend China is not stopping her, and that NK-chan has a new toy called a weapon of mass destruction that's capable of reaching Alaska. But who cares about Alaska since there's a US military base in Japan only a hop and a skip away for North Korea? What if NK chooses Japan as her first target? What'll we weebs do then? It's time for a stronger hand with the North Koreans. The girl's a little too obsessed with the US, and finally, it's starting to freak America-san's classmates out too. Plus, even if it turns out that NK-chan is exaggerating her grades and her ICBM turns out to be more of a mid-range missile, the international stage is growing tense as they watch North Korea blatantly ignore and alienate much of the world, despite the embargoes and restrictions already placed upon it. And that's all China's fault. See, North Korea can ignore the world's sanctions because 83% of their exports go to China, and 85% of their imports come from China. And as BGDJT noted in his tweet, that number is only increasing. It's those resources that are allowing North Korea to keep working on their Steins Gate-esque obsession, intercontinental nuclear weapons. Unless China sanctions North Korea hard, the 196th most loved kuai of the world is just going to keep on going on. And we're not super hopeful about that sanction coming anytime soon. Why? Because North Korea and China are childhood friends. With benefits. Not that those benefits will change anything. One of them is still going to rip out the other's heart and leave him bleeding in a ditch. Not even see her own blood-soaked hands. Anyway, the final question. Why? Not why does North Korea hate the US, that's a whole nother episode. The question is, why did North Korea, last week, decide to perform their most blatantly aggressive weapons test yet? Now, the easy way out would be to explain this act by saying, well, Kim be crazy. And really, that assessment wouldn't be that off. But Notakus don't stop with the easy explanation. They don't cease just because the answer seems clear and obvious and simple and so much less time-consuming than trying to find a more complicated answer to every question. But we were ready to dig deep, real deep, deep like finding ourselves a North Korean spy and stringing him up like that weird dude did to Asuna in Sword Art Online.
ここでたっぷり楽しんだら君の病室に行く。大型モニターに今日の録画を流しながら君ともう一度じっくりと楽しむ。君の本当の体。
How can anyone like that show? Anyway, we were ready to go all L on this thing, but then, magically, it turned out we didn't have to. Because North Korea told the world exactly why they launched that missile last week. Our jaws collectively hit the floor here at Notaku when we heard their reason. Kim Jong-un is reported to have said, and I quote, "American bastards would be not very happy with this gift sent on the July 4th anniversary." He then went on to say, while laughing, "We should send them gifts once in a while to help break their boredom." He even described his lovely new missile with the words, "as handsome as a good-looking boy." Ignoring the obvious homoerotic undertones there, do you know what I hear? Let me tell you, this is what I hear. Notice me. Notice me. Notice me. Notice me, Senpai! That's right. Korea-chan just wants America Senpai to notice her. Now, I wouldn't start expecting some grand romance just yet since, well, you know how these things go. Anyway, all semi-serious joking aside, we here at Notaku view this whole situation as being a lot like Code Geass Season 3. We want it to work out. We really do. We want there to actually be more story to tell. We want to relive the feelings and experience of watching that first season. We want this thing to be more than a senseless money grab by a profit-obsessed studio. In the same way, we want to be impressed by BGDJT's handling of the situation. We want China to support the international community in undermining North Korea's nuclear program. We want peace on Earth and joy for all men. We want all these things. But in the end, we have a sinking feeling. This thing's going to turn out just like Evangelion. Interesting to the end. But a gosh damn cluster, Sakura.